Hi folks, and welcome to Masterclass. Today I want to talk about driving on the beach, or driving on sand in particular. The first thing we need to do when driving on sand is look at our tyre pressures. The whole basis of reducing tyre pressures on both your vehicle and your trailer when driving on sand is to lengthen the footprint of the tyre, make a larger contact patch, so instead of sinking into the sand, we're actually floating across the top of it. So now, with the aid of a tyre deflator, I'm going to show you how this principle works. This tyre is at road pressure, so it's about 50 psi in it. So I just want to show you what the length of the contact patch is. So that area there is roughly the contact patch we have with the road. Now, what I'm going to do is reduce the tyre pressure to probably about 18 psi on this trailer, because the trailer is sitting at about 1,550 kilos. So experience tells me let's start at about 18 psi and go from there, and I'll show you the difference in the contact patch then. So now we've deflated our tyre to 18 psi, let's have a look at the difference in the length of our contact patch. So we've actually made our contact patch longer by about 2 inches, which means a great deal in terms of the surface area we contact the sand. So I'll do that to both sides on the trailer, and then I'll do the vehicle. And with the vehicle, because we have a tow ball weight on the back, my normal pressures for driving on sand, the difference between the front and the back tyres, will actually change a little bit. Because I've got a trailer connected up to the back of the wagon, I've got the ball weight of the trailer as an extra load on the tow bar. Now, with some of the bigger trailers and caravans, our ball weight may be between 250 and 350 kilograms. Like if you're towing 3.5 tonne of dual axle van, your ball weight is going to be over 300 kilos, plus whatever you've loaded in the back of the wagon, which means the weight balance on the rear axles is going to be heavier than the front axles. When driving on sand, I like to try and keep the amount of bag out or contact patch on the tyres even. So when I first head off on a trip with my new camper trailer, I've got everything loaded up, I'm pretty much going to have the same items and the same loads each time I go. So the first time, what I'll actually do is when I deflate the car tyres, I'll measure the length of the contact patch and do it fairly accurately and deflate them until I get them right and they're both even, and measure the PSI in each tyre. Then I know, okay, I need 22 PSI in the rear and maybe 16 PSI in the front as a compensation for the ball load. That gets it even. That means my tyres are all doing the same amount of work. I've got the same contact patch, and one's not trying to dig a hole while the other one's trying to drag the vehicle along. So think about that, the ball weight, the load, and the effect that it'll have between the rear axle and the front axles on your car, and try and compensate for it. An important thing to remember is now that we've deflated all our tyres down to a lower pressure, we need to adjust our driving to suit. Sometimes you'll lower your tyre pressures possibly as low as 12 psi to get across the really soft stuff. That means you can no longer do any sharp or radical turns because you'll risk rolling the tyre off the rim itself. So curb your driving, make sure you keep your lines as straight as possible, and try and cut your own tracks. If you're following other tracks, they'll try and pull you left and right. If you cut your own fresh tracks, your vehicle will go where you point it, no sharp turns, and you'll be fine. You don't want to have to change a wheel out on the sand. For more great tips like this, head across to our YouTube channel and check out the entire masterclass, and follow us on Facebook so you can see each one of these as we post them.